So ladies and gentlemen, the next presentation will talk about one of the best mobile marketing campaigns at the Smarties Vietnam 2019, Infection Alert System LIVESTEAM, a data-driven initiative enabling LIVESTEAM to fulfill its mission to stay ahead of infection. And please welcome on the stage Mr. Nguyễn Hoài Vũ, Category Business Director, Skincare Unilever Vietnam.
Hi everyone. So good afternoon. I see a lot of old friends here, very lucky. I do believe that you have a great day at MMA today to enjoy and all the sharing, the learning from all the experts in the industry. So I hope it's a great day. I know that I'm between you and the great gala night that happening soon. So I hope you can bear with me for a while before we can start the night, okay? So, very briefly about myself, not much to tell though. I'm from Unilever. I hope it's sound a bit familiar to you guys. 14 years with the company, been through 5 categories so far. Not much to boast about though. But if there's one thing I have to tell about my whole journey through the marketing industry is that the whole brand purpose is a thing that connects us as a marketer. So my luck is that I've been working on quite a few brands that had great brand purposes, and it's the thing that connects us as marketeer to the brands as a human being, and it actually creates a great foundation for us to think of the brand job to be done, how we build the brand going forward, and how we create and solve the problem for the brand and for the consumers. So if the one thing that unites us as the marketer is going to be the brand purpose. And we all want to work on the brands with the brand purpose. So today I'm going to tell to you about a case study of a brand that I believe that had one of the greatest brand purpose in the marketing world, globally as well, because this brand has been doing a lot of great thing to deliver its purpose to our consumers. And in Vietnam, we proudly introduced an idea we call the infection alert system to solve the brand problem. Yeah. Let me show you a very quick clip so that you understand about the initiative. Oh, sorry.
Dịch cúm đang lây lan và gây ra những ổ dịch lẻ tẻ các địa phương.
Influenza infects about 1.8 million Vietnamese every year. Seasonal diseases such as hand, foot, mouth, H1N1, and diarrhea are also getting more out of control. But why? Firstly, public news only speaks up when diseases have already broken out, when the risk of infection has become much more severe. Secondly, moms still go for the cure rather than prevention, so alerting them in advance becomes critical to change this mindset. As a leading hygiene brand, Lifebuoy's mission is to help moms stay one step ahead of infection by reminding them of the simplest way to prevent diseases: washing hands with soap. So, how can we alert moms well before the very first symptoms strike in their neighborhood? This year, embracing the power of data and AI, Lifebuoy activated a real-time and hyper-customized infection alert system, allowing us to forecast the upcoming diseases and alert moms at the right place with the most relevant message. Step 1. Identify the potential disease outbreak and where it may break out. Understanding the high correlation among weather signals, disease search trends, and disease outbreak, we leveraged Google's Ruled by Weather to create a dashboard for 4 seasonal diseases: flu, hand, foot, mouth, dengue, and diarrhea. It allows us to see which potential disease outbreaks are on at city level and in real time. Step 2. Deliver the relevant alert to moms. We created a set of master assets and hyper-customize it for the 64 cities and towns across Vietnam. Based on the potential disease's status, our campaign will be toggled on or off automatically, and the customized creative assets will be delivered accordingly. Even when multiple disease outbreaks happen at the same time, moms can still be served by the most relevant message. For example, when the flu is on in Hanoi and the foot and hand foot mouth is on in Dam Nai, mums in these regions will see different creatives. Step 3. Feed mums the worm of knowledge. Not stopping at the disease alert, we partnered with LIVESTEAM TOÀN Bጢ to provide mums with tons of useful hygiene education, so they can learn more about these diseases and how to better prevent them. In just 1 month, 3.5 million mums have been alerted. Sales in infected cities increased significantly across regions. When Hanoi experienced a flu outbreak, sales uplifted by 18%. When Dam Nai experienced a hand-foot-mouth outbreak, sales uplifted by 29%. This helped Lifebuoy grow more than 20%. Penetration increased 100 basis points in urban and 500 basis points in rural. The real-time infection alert system helps Lifebuoy become Vietnamese mums' best assistant in staying ahead of infections, fulfilling our mission to protect the health of Vietnamese.
Thank you. So I hope that gives you a very quick abstract of what we did under the campaign. But let's start first on how it all started. A quick spoiler alert. Yeah. I hope that you don't expect to see a lot of contents and funny stuff and funny clips and tear-jerking clips or whatever, because it's not going to be about that. This is about how we use data as a new marketing tools and marketing weapons to solve a brand problems. Yeah. So how it all started, we started with the brand challenge to educate people to wash their hands. It sounds very basic, right? But it's not at all. So if you know that hand washing actually was invented like about 250 years ago. It was invented, can you imagine that? And since then until nowadays, to be honest, we don't see a lot of movement in general. Like a lot of people are still not washing their hands. Even if, I don't know if you would ever witness someone going out of the toilet and not even washing their hands, that's so gross, right? But that's actually happening even in the urban cities. You go down to rural areas, it's getting even worse as a problem. So Lifebuoy as a brand, that is our very fundamental job to be done. And it has been in our core job to be done for quite a while, and it's the progress. We have to continue to educate people to wash their hands. And the more we do it, the more creative and innovative way we have to find to educate people to wash their hands, because it's something so hard to change. It's not going to change in the matter of 1 or 2 years, the whole progress of time. Can I ask you a question? How many of you here have ever worked on a brand or a campaign that changed habit of consumers? Can you raise your hand? Something that you really want to change the habit of consumers. Like old-rooted habits. Okay. So, do you agree with me this is the worst marketing job to be done, right? As a marketeer, do you want this job? Because it's so tough. It's so tough. My experience with the category so far is that this kind of job to be done will be in your, job to be done for like a few years. It's going to be there forever. So, if you have to go back a little bit to basic, and the model of habit that being built by Charles Duhigg, the author of The Power of Habits. So in order to change the habit, you really need to have a cue, right? Something that always trigger and remind people to start the habit. Why I have to start to do something. And this is a fundamental thing for us to start working on the habit change campaign. And therefore, for Lifebuoy, we define what is the cue we want to work on. So the cue here is defined as critical moments, right? The moment when infections or diseases can happen, because it's so relatable to hand washing and to the consequences of not washing your hand properly. If you don't wash your hand, you have a problem with your health. So based on this cue, and it's actually a very strong cue, we find a way to relate to consumer and to give them the right solution. So therefore, we sharpen our job to be done, the marketing challenge, into how we educate people to wash their hand at critical moments. Yeah. However, come to think of that, if you want to educate people to wash their hand at a critical moment, the very immediate thing you can do is, when something happens, I'm going to talk about it. So when a disease outbreak break out, when some hand, foot, mouth disease happen in a certain province, we start suddenly creating assets and contents and all of those to talk to our consumers. But that is not enough, right? Because it's not going to create a step change in how you change the habit of people, and it's not actually prevent the whole problems. So for Lifebuoy, and also it comes to the two challenges that we have to face here. In order for the habit to change, we need to ensure that it's always on. You have to constantly remind people of what they have to think of and why they have to keep this habit going on. So this whole consistency and this always on conversation is so critical for us to change the habit of people. And then secondly, you have to keep it educational, and you have to keep it very informative for them to see the reward of changing the habit, right? So these three things leads us to the point that, okay, we have to be ahead of the problem. We have to be ahead of the infections and the diseases. And it's not very right, though it's a tough thing. So we work with our partners, MyShare, Google, to come up with a solution called the Infection Alert System. So basically, a system that enables us to be ahead of the infection and the diseases. And how can we forecast the diseases? How can we put it into the right place, forecast the right diseases in the right places, in the right provinces, and give consumer the relevant messages and the relevant content? So all in all, it sounds like a very complicated marketing and communication job to be done. It's so hyper customized, so real time, because you have to activate yourself right instantly before a potential disease or infection. So how are we going to be doing it? There are two challenges we need to solve here. Number one, how I forecast the diseases. It's very, very challenging, because even weather, right? It's already very, very hard to forecast the weather. So how can you forecast the disease? And when we talk to the Ministry of Health, they say, you forecast the disease, so how are you going to talk about it? So this creates a whole bundle of worms that we need to solve here, how we can forecast the disease. And secondly, even if you forecast the infection or disease, how you serve the right customized contents to the right consumer in the right place, in the right provinces. So it comes to the whole data crunching part. This shows very briefly, technically, how we did it. Actually, we went through like 5 pages of abstract by Google saying about the correlation between weather and keyword searches and everything. So you can go to the link there to read about it. It's very scientific, but we have to go through all of those. And then, but basically, the principle is we have to find the correlation between weather signal, which is how the weather change, whether it's windy, rainy, high humidity, low humidity, all of those components of the weather that may affect the disease condition, and correlating it with the search trend. So all the keywords that will pick up and have very high search volume during that weather condition. And then as the third one, how we correlating it with the outbreak of the diseases. So this is based on the expertise of Google and the co-working between the brand team and the Google team and the MyShare together. We define the 4 key diseases that we can actually forecast. We cannot forecast everything here yet, because we don't have enough data, because the keywords on the disease has to be having enough volume search so that we can relate it back to the history. So the reading was about 5 to 7 years, which is very long for us to really see the pattern and the correlation between the outbreak of the infection diseases and the keyword searches. So the 4 diseases, after we define all the 4 diseases here, hand, foot, mouth disease, dengue, flu, diarrhea, we put it into a dashboard by Google called Route by Weather. And on this dashboard, if you see here, it has 12 provinces. So also, there's a limitation here. We can only forecast in 12 provinces because of a limitation of data. But still, 12 provinces are already a lot in the context that we can actually forecast something. And then it has a status of on or off. Yeah, so it's very customized by provinces. whenever there's a potential outbreak based on the correlation between keyword searches, whether the system will automatically turn on or off the toggle. So with this dashboard, we find a way to serve the contents to our consumer. So firstly, we serve them the interruption content. So something that gives them a real alert. Say, telling them, okay guys, there's a disease happening in your province. Be conscious and please use Lifebuoy and wash your hand to prevent it. So here is a very quick example of how the banner is served. So basically we multiply 4 diseases by 12 provinces and then we create like 50 accesses, and also we double and triple it by the number of creative as well to answer to each of the signals. Yeah? And then based on this one, whenever a province is toggle on, then the ad or the interruptive alert message will be served on display. Yeah? So this is a very basic display and alert message that we can send to the people. But it's very customized. It's served by province. It's served by certain time that we forecast that the disease may happen. And in reality, we don't even know that it's actually happened or not, but luckily when we serve these ads, nothing happened. So we hope that we already did a good job in terms of really helping people to prevent it. Yeah? And then, but it's not enough, right? This is just interruptive content. We have to go a little bit beyond that one because it's just a very quick alert to people and we don't actually have them fully yet on how they can have a right solution. So as the next step, we create a whole ecosystem of content by partnering with a platform called Hello Baxi. This is a very on-trend content platform talking about health and parenting right now. So with this partnership, we actually based on their strength and create a lot of customized content that can help to answer and give advices on the 4 types of diseases that we have in the system. So whenever our consumer click onto a display message, it will link to the whole bunch of contents about that specific issue that they may face in their areas. So they have much more richer contents to interact with and to read and to create a better protection and to create a better coverage for their risk in their specific situation and specific area. So this whole content platform actually helps us to serve the brand a lot in terms of connecting with consumer and give them very in-depth interaction. And this is not our strength though, because we are marketing doing brands. We need to really base on the expertise of our expert and the content platform to create all of these. So for us, it's a very good partnership to create much more content for consumer. As the next ambition for this platform, we want to expand to more provinces. Right now, it's 12 provinces. So we hope that we can bring it on further to the other provinces with the data available from year on year. Better accurate learning on infection by geography. This is still something that we need to learn more because it's actually the whole system of learning and whether we can forecast the right infection and also the whole learning mechanism of the system as well. And we need to work with a partner on this part. And on how we can fully automate the access serving. Because right now, part of that is automatic, but still we have to serve it a bit manually because we have to control the ad quality and how we can achieve the right KPI, cost per click and everything. So it's a bit of challenging on how you can serve the ad very instantly and automatically, but this is something we want to work on further. And more importantly, we want to help more Vietnamese to stay ahead of infection. So this is very on the spot of the brand purpose and how we can have more Vietnamese to stay healthy as a brand. Yeah. So key learning out of this one. To be honest, the one and very first learning I think I want to highlight here is that we really need to embrace data as a new marketing language. I know that as marketing, we love fancy things, right? So we love creative ads, we love funny clips, we love all of those things. It's great. We keep doing those. We keep doing those creative things. But the key thing is that we are stepping into an era of data and big data and how we can harness that power to do marketing. And I think that there's a fine line already between being marketeer and being a data analyst. And if there's a part between about marketing as a science versus an art, this is the time. You have to step back a little bit into the science part instead of being just artistic, right? And really to go deep into data, crunching data, reading analysis can be a pain for us. I have to admit that. But the moment we embrace that, the moment we see the power and the magic of data and how we can maximize data from the existing available sources already, it gives us a lot of power to innovate the way we do things. So I think that as marketeer, I think we really need to use this language much more, embrace it, and it become our blood of the future. Yeah, we are not just creative, but we are a data addict. Yeah. Secondly, creating content ecosystem with the partners. This is very important, and I just repeat my point just now that we as a marketer, we cannot create all the contents in the world. We need to really seek the support from our partners to create content. We are best at creating advertisement, but the moment it goes to passion content and all of the need content, the content that serves the needs of our consumer, we really need to base on the expertise of our partners. And this is the part where we can really explore the brand interaction and experience by using content. And I think this is something that we really learn a lot from this. And thirdly, how can we adopt the design thinking? So how can we take more risks, be bolder, doing more prototype, test and amplify. So nothing is perfect in this case yet because we are not going to create a perfect system from day one. We are not even sure 100% that this is going to forecast correctly all the diseases of infection in Vietnam, but we still want to do and we still want to test it. And as a next step, we want to really amplify and take all the learning forward and see how we can really make this system work for the Vietnamese. So I think that this whole design thinking mindset will really help us a lot in adopting and really executing new ideas, especially in the digital and data-driven marketing world. So I hope that this gives you a bit of reflection. I'm not sure it's learning for you, but it gives us a bit of reflection to think as a marketer. Yeah. Last but not least, thank you for your listening and our partners here, MyShare, Google, internally used studio, and the platform LIVESTEAM, the one who really helped us to empower this platform. Thank you, and hope you enjoy the sharing.
Thank you, Mr. Hoài Vũ.